Don't be quick to get into a relationship. Let me be more specific. Don't be quick to date. There are some who, after they turn 18, they make it their life's mission to get someone for themselves, because everyone has someone. Everyone has someone whom they can call as a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Uh, Relationship is often portrayed in the wrong way in our world today, especially with social media and all the media influences that we have. Young people are very, very quick, like even at the age of 13, 14, even in their teens, they're quick to get into a relationship. But the reality is that they don't know what they need at that age. Yes, but if you ask a teenage boy, he will say, I know what I want. But as you get older, when you hit 23, 24, 25, you'll feel like, I don't know what I want. I need the Lord to help me out. You begin to understand the reality of life. But a teenage boy will often, be so overconfident in what he wants and the things that he wants to do. So one of the things they all look for is, I need a girlfriend. I need a boyfriend. I need someone whom I can call them, or be in a relationship. Now, dating is not a sin. The Bible does not condemn dating in any way. Instead, what the Bible calls us to do is to make a wise choice about dating. Wise choice about dating. Now, when it comes to dating, one of the important things that matter is this: the timing at which you get into a relationship, the age at which that you get into a relationship. If you turn with me to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, you'll find this passage where it talks about times and seasons that God has appointed in our life. It talks about the fact that there is time and season for every activity in your life. So remember this, that even before you were born, God has appointed times and seasons in your life. If you try to do something before that, you will fail. Yes, if you try to do something before that, you will fail. Solomon writes like this in verse 1, chapter 3, verse 1. He says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And then you go to verse 8, he says like this, there is a time to love, a time to hate. Now, this is a very general advice. He's not saying there is a time to fall in love and all that. But the point that we understand here is there is a season for every activity on earth. There is a season for every activity in your life. So when it comes to relationship, we should not be quick to get into it, because relationships are something that we need to put a lot of careful thought into. It's not like, I've come to a new city, I'm alone, so let me find someone to talk to, and then, start dating and all that. That's not what you do. If you're alone, be happy that you're alone, because you won't be alone for too long. Enjoy your single days. It's not going to last for too long. When you look at the Bible clearly reminds us that there is a season. And when it comes to verse 11 in the same chapter, we are reminded that God has made everything beautiful in its time, which means that there is a set time for this particular activity, your dating, your marriage to happen. God has set a time for that. And so we must understand and work according to that time. Are you with me so far? Now you may wonder, when is the right time? When do I know that I'm ready for a relationship? The first thing is this. How do you know that you're ready for is this? Emotional maturity. When you reach a stage where emotionally you become mature, that is the right time. Now most people reach that age, reach that emotional maturity around the age of 23, 24 and 25. Yes, now some may reach that stage early, but some may reach that late. And some don't reach at all. We have to pray for them. Those cases are mostly a parenting issue. Recently, I remember the story I was sharing about someone who came to my family's clinic, and as they were undergoing some procedure, like some injection, they were calling for their mother. This is not a 12-year-old boy, by the way. It's someone who's like an adult. If you see an adult crying for his mother, when they're undergoing some simple, well, like a very simple thing, and they just can't take the pain. It's too much for them. Something is wrong with the way they have been brought up. Yes. See, mothers have a way in which they express their emotion to their children. So that is why when children want to play and cuddle and all that, they go to the mother. But when the children want something to eat, like from outside, or something to play with, they come to the father. My son has already given, he's told me what he needs for his birthday, and I've promised him that I'll get him that. But when it comes to cuddling, nobody's around me. Because, see, mothers give that warm feeling. Like, mothers give that warm feeling. Now, what happens is, a mother, after a certain point in time, she should stop doing that. She should stop doing that. She can't treat her son like he was a baby. Because, boys grow up, they become independent too soon, but there are mothers who will keep a hold on them, say, no, my son should not do like this. And eventually the boys become such a way that they emotionally don't mature. And that is a huge problem, because even in the future, even if they were to get married, they'll be more connected to their mother. See, it's important to love your parents. But at the same time, you have to understand you have a family that you have to lead according to your own, like on your own, just on your own wisdom that God has given you. Not get, advice from everyone and then try to lead. There is an emotional maturity that we have to reach. Yes, so normally it happens around the age of 23 to 25. And how do you know that you've reached that stage? First is you're able to keep your anger under control. See, sometimes relationships will make you very angry. Yes, you may say something, she will understand something else, or she may say something, you will understand something else. Something will go wrong. But if you can learn to keep your actions under control, you know that you're someone who is mature enough for a relationship. Something that I've heard during the counseling sessions I've had is that, like, young boys and girls, like in their teenage, they get into a relationship. And something goes wrong, the boy starts beating the girl. They start abusing, physically and mentally. Like, there is a genuine situation that could make one angry, but because they don't have emotional maturity, they resort to abusing each other, raising their hands against each other. Someone was sharing their story with me, saying that he hit me publicly, but I didn't feel embarrassed because he was my boyfriend. But what they said is, years later, I realized that this guy was abusive. See, when people are not emotionally mature, they won't be able to control their emotions. Their emotions will just run wild. They won't be able to control their anger. But if you're someone who is able to keep yourself calm and under control, even in situations that can make you angry, you know that you have reached a point of emotional maturity. Yes? Now, this doesn't mean that you'll never get angry. That's not what I'm talking about. But you're reaching a stage of life where you are in control of your actions. So that is when you know that you have reached that stage of emotional maturity. So even you're able to deal and overcome with hurt and disappointments. Like, say someone might have had a difficult relationship in the past, and then they've come out of it, they're now emotionally mature. Now, when they get into a relationship for marriage, what will happen is they won't talk about the past. But there are some who break up. This very interesting story I heard. Someone broke up and they were crying, and then a boy comes along, and within that 10-minute span, they have fallen in love again. They just broke up, and they were just crying, and they happened to go outside and meet this person. As they were sharing their pain, they got connected and they started another relationship. These are not meant to last. Some use relationships as a therapy session. Now, when people do it that way, they're using relationship just as an experiment. Just as an experiment. Relationship is not an experiment. People have to put careful thought into that, because if they don't, they're just playing with another person's emotions. There are many who get into a relationship and talk about Oh, this is what my ex did to me. Even if he has hurt you, don't talk about the past. The past is a closed chapter. Yes? People who are not emotionally mature will always keep digging up the past. And it's like, for example, if you do something, they'll be like, oh, he used to be the same way. Don't bring it up. Don't compare uh, your boyfriend to someone else. That's a bad idea. People who are emotionally immature end up doing that. But be emotionally mature so that you don't entertain all those things, but focus on the relationship. And more importantly, dating is for marriage. So when you reach that stage of emotional maturity, you know that I'm ready for marriage. And then you find someone, you date them, get married. Over. Dating is not for fun. Dating is not a time pass. Dating is not a way to spend your time with someone. No, that's all the world will say. It's good to be that way. It's good. I saw this post recently on Instagram saying we've been living together for 9 years, but we are not married. And so they say we feel safe being this way. But what they don't understand is you can live for 9 years like that. You can live for 15 years like that. And one day when something happens, they go to the court will say, you're not married legally. How can you expect the protections of a marriage? See, marriage is a system that people are afraid to get into. You know why? They're emotionally immature. They don't want to commit. They don't want to commit their life to a person for the rest of their life. They just want to be outside and play it safe. Something goes wrong, they just leave. Marriage is not for quitting. Marriage is not for quitting. You get inside it, you make it work. You seek the Lord and you make it work, and it goes on. So you must understand that when you reach that stage of emotional maturity, you'll be able to make a wise choice regarding dating. So wait for that time. Wait for that time. The other part of this is that you have to be okay being single. Now, singleness will last for a certain period of time, but there are some who view singleness as a curse. They view singleness as a curse. They feel like they have to be in a relationship because everyone around them is in a relationship. That stage of life where you go from 18 to 24 is a really good time to invest in yourself, in your career, in your relationship with the Lord. This is a time of life that you can do a lot more. But if someone gets into that relationship and once they start a relationship, once someone falls into a relationship, it's very hard for them not to be in one because they're used to talking to someone, used to having someone. So instead of investing on themselves, they're giving themselves to something else. So don't be quick to get into a relationship because there is an appointed time, there is an appointed season when you will enter into the relationship at the right time. So when you do that, you will be happy and even the other person will be happy with you. And that will lead to marriage. Today you talk to people who are getting into relationship, ask them, are they going to get married? We see these YouTube videos, right? Someone goes and asks them, are you guys in a relationship? Are you thinking about marriage? The moment marriage comes up as a subject, they're like, oh no, we don't even think about marriage. Because they're not in it for marriage. They're in a wrong season of life. They're doing something else they are not supposed to do. We must understand dating is for marriage. There is a time to be single, there's a time to mingle. And find that time and prepare yourself. Prepare yourself when you are single. I shared with you in the morning that often one of the things that people regret is, they'll say that when I was just stepped into college, it was the freshest day. I was there to study, but someone passed by me. And the violin started playing. The wind was very strong that day. I felt something in my heart. I didn't know what to do. All that sounds great. It sounds like, straight out of some movie. But most people who go through that regret saying, if only I had focused that 5 years on my studies, 3 years on my studies, I would have had much better grades. I would have done really well in life. See, at the age of 18, 19 and 20, even up to like 23, 24, most are not fully, they're not at this stage where they're fully developed to make a proper decision regarding marriage. It's better to wait. It's better to wait and invest in yourself than to jump into a relationship. You must understand that God has appointed times and seasons in your life, but what the enemy wants you to do is do everything ahead of time. Experience everything. Do it before marriage. Enjoy everything. That's the worst way to live life. So don't be quick to date or you will regret. Amen.